hit a button and you're thinking something's going to work. All right, so it did after like hitting it 3 times. John, are you there? Thanks for dropping by for another go round of SDH AM. And it's a Wall Pass Wednesday, which means anything's on the table. So whatever you're bringing to the table in the Twitch pitch, please do so. You can catch up with us on the Twitch pitch at twitch.tv/soccer down here. You can catch up with us on social medias, on the IG, the Gram, the Insta, the FaceSpace, the MyBook, the 280-character app, all the above. You can catch up with us there. Whatever's on your mind, let us know across the board. And this show is pretty stacked guest-wise. It's the return of Tyler Pilgrim. It's like, dude, you got a week off? I mean, why? So we find out how he allowed himself to actually get to a vacation, and I'll have it go for a week. We'll talk about Portugal. We'll talk about Club World Cup. That was at Mercedes-Benz last night. Crowd of about 31,000 was there fighting the thunderstorms outside. And full credit to everybody who was fighting the thunderstorms outside, waiting for the opportunity to come inside to see the match. 2-1 your final score. And so now Dortmund takes on Real Madrid. And we now have the round of 8 set for one more match at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and then everything else is at the Meadowlands. And so we'll go through the matchups and look at early juice boxes and go over what happened last night at Mercedes-Benz. Obviously, we've got to talk about Atlanta United with the trip to D.C. coming up and what Tyler has on his brain from there, and getting you ready for the weekend in general. We'll see if the busiest man in the Northeast, Dylan Butler, can join us at 10 o'clock to kind of start our weekend review preview of everything MLS. And then at 10:30, Kaylor Hodges from the USL show is going to join us, and we will go down the road of the month that was, about to say the week that was, but the month that was in USL across the board, Championship, League One. I'm going to ask him about this thing about the Cosmos, and it popped up yesterday, and it's the possibility that the Cosmos name might be resurrected in USL League One next year. We did a 1v1 with North Jersey Pro Soccer when they came online a little bit ago, and now it appears that they might be using the Cosmos name, even though they'll be playing in New Jersey, and it would be next season. That came out yesterday, and it kind of raised an eyebrow and a thought bubble, and so that'll be part of what we talk about with Kaylor about coming up at 10:30 Eastern time. And so that's the show for this morning. Like I said, whatever's on your mind from yesterday coming up to today. We've got men's national team going on. We've got women's national team playing at Audi Field in D.C. So we'll go over juice boxes and look at the numbers for the men's and the women's national team as Gold Cup kind of comes down to its conclusions. By the way, tomorrow on Footy Prime, as they tape, Madison is going to be on that show with them. So keep your notifications squared away when it comes to Footy Prime. Maddie's going to be on with them tomorrow, and that's going to tape and turn pretty quickly. And so and I'm going to stick to this, so hold me to this. Once the Gold Cup is over, a Tuesday slot at 9 o'clock in the morning is going to be reserved for the coming together of all of us. Anybody on our end that wants to hop in, everybody on their end that wants to hop in, and we'll discuss everything Gold Cup for that hour. And so the Tuesday after the Gold Cup is over, we will have that mega discussion, and we will probably have something akin to what Kevin Egan gets to stare at on Saturday nights on Apple TV on MLS 360. We could have an 8-box, could have a 9-box. We'll see how many of us show up in any given opportunity. So we will have that coming up after the Gold Cup is over. It's kind of like a Gold Cup recap kind of a thing. But Maddie's going to be on Footy Prime on Thursday morning, and we will we'll see what that discussion was like. And she's going to, I guess, run smack on Canada until you can't run smack on them anymore in the Canadian men's national team. If you missed it yesterday, we had our conversation with John Arnold, and we got CONCACAFinated, and boy, did we need it. So look out for that conversation. It has been posted the audio has been posted to our podcatchers. The video, obviously, is up on our YouTube channel, And we do have some elements of that conversation that are going to be released to social media. So keep an eye out for that as well. But it was a fun conversation to get John Arnold back into the mix and talk a little Texas Tech football and find out what it's going to be like for them after losing to Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl last year, finishing 8-5. And their first matchup with Arkansas Pine Bluff is 2 months away. And so just finding out what it's like. Texas Tech football-wise, everything CONCACAF. And if you have not subscribed, please do, to John's Substack on getconcacaf.substack.com. And you can become CONCACAFinated at every opportunity when it comes to everything that is going on in his universe. And there have been a really cool series. The Four Letter has enlisted John to write some pieces that are appearing at the Four Letters website having to do with with the Gold Cup tournament. So you got that as well. Since we're in this particular part of the program, I guess let's just run through the promos. Once again, you can kick off your day with our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code right there. You start your day with Kickoff Coffee, you kick it off, you buy out the store. Then what you do is you buy out the store, but you use the code SoccerDownHere15. You get 15% off your purchase. They in turn take 10%, reinvest at youth games, youth initiatives. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. All right. Now, also, a part of the milieu that is SDH. Once again, Olive and York, you can get your first ever SDH jersey, the navy jersey, the floppy collar, very, very 80s. And you can get that and you can get it personalized, the navy jersey, thanks to our friends at Kaiser Permanente for being across the front. Beyond Goals Mentoring on the sleeve, Soccer for Good on the other sleeve, benefiting our Soccer for Good campaign here in 2025. And please consult Alex or Abby as to whether or not you wish to have the white personalization or the darker blue, the lighter blue on the darker blue, the Columbia blue, the double blue, the Tar Heel blue, whatever you want to phrase it. And you can get personalized either in white or in that double blue for your jerseys. Go to soccerdownhere.net. You can get all of our gear. You can also set your reminders as to when we have things going on live that you can tap into. So shop at soccerdownhere.net. You can get all of the new gear, including ruckus and attack stuff that Jason has designed. And this, like I said, I've had this from the absolute beginning, and it has stuck with me. I don't know if we might reissue this as a retro at some point, but go to SDH, soccerdownhere.net, and get your shopping done, and you can get all of the new gear with the new logo. Grady Baby Co. You can get the Soccer is Just Better in Atlanta gear that we are collaborating with them about, red or black T-shirt or sweatshirt, gold embossed on the phrasing of Soccer is Just Better in Atlanta. Proceeds from that, SDH Network on one cuff, Grady Baby on the other cuff. Those proceeds go to middle school soccer programs attached to Atlanta Public Schools. So you've got that you can attach to as well. And once again, the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation, we're a little over a month away, so 6 weeks out, I want to say, from the activity in Springdale, Arkansas, where they get to have their first ever 11v11 tournament. 14th and the 16th in Springdale, Arkansas. Go to their website, buy their gear. It helps keep the lights on a daily basis. But it also, if you go to the Kickstarter program, Kickstarter outlet that they wanted to make sure that they could get their basic expenses taken care of for this in Arkansas in 6 weeks. They did make that, but to continue to be a part of the program, I'm still sending out scarves around the world. I just sent one to London, by the way, the other day. And you can get the scarves, but you can get that from me. Everything else comes from London. Scarves from the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation come from me on the other side of this door. So that's all the things that you can do involving the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation, and Madison is still a part of the promo there. She's the promo photo for that scarf and that collaboration. All right, let me see if I've got it. Fanatis, Olive and York. Let's see. Fanatis, Olive and York, Marshall Islands, soccerdownhere.net. I think that's everybody. Oh, no. Chant, being a Fanatico. You can be a Fanatico at the cost of $10 a year. $10 a year. What do you do for $10? Well, what you can do is you can become a part of the Fanaticos community, and you can become of the community here. You download the Chant app. You get all the conversations and everything that are attached. And once again, this is a part of our Soccer for Good campaign here in 25. $10 a year, and you get a bunch of cool discounts to a bunch of places, and I mean a bunch of places. A lot of breweries and things like that. Let's see, partners. Brass Tap, Moxie Hotel in Midtown. You can get 20% off hotel food and beverage. South Main in Watkinsville, Schoolhouse in Marietta, Hard Cider in Marietta, Elixir Brewing in Buford and Monroe, Round Trip in Marietta, Social Fox in Norcross, Keys to Flavor Catering in Sugar Hill, 15% off your first catered event. Fido at Midtown, 10% off food tabs. O'Sullivan's in Decatur, $5 select beers, $10 off your food bill, $10 10% off your merch. Decatur has ended their season in the WPSL, so the playoffs are now Nashville versus Chattanooga, and that is tomorrow. To see who advances in the WPSL tournament, we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see how that continues to grow and evolve. Lloyd Soccer in Johns Creek, you get 20% off Atlanta United gears, select Atlanta United gear, Finished Goods and Winder, Slow Pour Lawrenceville, Outrun in Stone Mountain, Tires Plus in Alpharetta, alignment services, oil changes, or 4-tire discount in Alpharetta at that location of Tires Plus, Dad's Garage in downtown Atlanta, Chateau Arenal in San Ramon, Costa Rica, Battle and Brew in Sandy Springs in the Battery, and Wild Leap in the Atlanta location off of Ted Turner Drive. A bunch of discounts, bunch of conversations, bunch of friends. This helps out. This helps out with all of the things that we are doing here with being a Fanatico, be a part of the Fanaticos community here at SDH. $10 a year. Group.chant.fan/soccer down here/join. So group.chant.fan, group.chant.fan/soccer down here/join. Let's see if I typed it correctly. I think I did. Group.chant. Yeah, I did. There you go. All right. So become a Fanatico right there. Group.chant.fan/soccer down here/join. Okay. So now it is time. We get to talk about late nights. And I mean that in covering soccer and maybe Portugal. I don't know. Time to bring in Tyler to break everything down from the Scarves in Spike's perspective. Welcome back. It was good to see you last night.
Indeed.
Oh boy. These 9 o'clock kicks, man. I mean, that is some serious late night soccer that they're having us get adjusted to, then have to turn around and do morning shows. I know that you were debating whether or not you were going to be able to make the contact lens appearance.
It didn't happen.
I was going to say, I figured at like 8:15, 8:30, you're just like, nope, screw it. Glasses.
Yep. I'll wait till after the show, and then I'll start that part of the day.
Yes. So we'll start with the easy question. So how was Portugal, sir?
Portugal was amazing. That was obviously my first time there. We were in Lisbon pretty much the entire time, and that easily is one of my favorite countries I've ever been to. I would happily, and I've already told my wife this, I would happily up and move our entire family there.
Oh,
It
wow.
was super friendly. You know, everything is so walkable. You have obviously lots of folks that speak English. If you know Spanish, you can get by. Obviously, lots of similarities in Portuguese and Spanish. The food the food was amazing. The food was off the chain.
Man comes back, he's gained 10 pounds. How did this happen? Well,
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy though is like you eat so well there, and the food is so cheap. Like I'll give you an example. One of the first meals we had, so it was kind of one of those where you sit down and it's like a sharing type situation. I'll give you the menu. I'll give you everything that we had, and I want you to guess how much money we spent per person. All right, there's 5 people that we went. All right. We had 2 orders of foie gras.
Okay.
We had 2 orders of beef tartare.
Yeah.
We had an order of like their homemade like bread with like local olive oil, not the stuff that we get over here that's been sitting in a bottle for a month. We had squid pasta.
Ew. Okay.
It was so good though. And we had, oh no, there's one big one I'm missing. 2 orders of We'll just say duck breast. There's a lot of stuff added to it. And then drinks for everybody.
Okay. Okay.
So again, 5 people. And when I say like, and I'll put it into perspective too, like these are things that you would see, maybe not getting a Michelin star, but like in the guide, like honorable mention, James Beard type situation, that kind of thing.
Okay. $23 US.
Close.
Oh.
Close.
Oh.
18.
Oh, see,
18 per person.
per person. Okay. All right, that's not bad. So $90 total.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was impressed. And I mean that's just one example of many. I mean, you go to the grocery. I went into the grocery store and I was just like, I'm gonna compare. It was the stupidest thing I ever did because the culture shock hit me like a brick wall. I walked out and a pack of chicken thighs,
Yeah.
Alex,
Uh-huh.
a pack of chicken thighs was €2.
Wow.
€2.
Wow.
I was shocked and appalled. But no, I loved it. I loved everything about it. The food, again, was amazing. It's just a beautiful city too, and there's always something going on. Like Sunday night, we ran into like a random block party where they had a DJ set up over a tiny little, alleyway that's older than our country, and they're blasting, all kinds of. It was a mixture of like Brazilian, Latin American, and Portuguese music, and there are kids out there like as young as 3 or 4 partying and dancing. There's old folks out there. It was very family friendly. I mean, it was just a really cool place. I can't say enough great things about that city.
Yes. Okay. So obviously, big thumbs up and a big plus, and you obviously turned into either a Benfica, a Porto, or a Sporting fan while you were away.
Yes, Benfica for sure.
And so, and you have to make sure that your clothing is of the proper shade and that you've got all the right logos and everything because they are serious about it.
Yes.
We have the cryptic tweet from
Yep.
Atlanta United this morning that it happened 9:05 as soon as the show started, technically 9:03, and which this is the implication that at 10 o'clock or something to that effect, right at the end of your segment, Atlanta United will announce a new player pickup here.
Yep.
And obviously you can do this on a free because, if contracts are up and you're after July 1st, it runs the fiscal year kind of deal. It is conventional wisdom that it might be an AM Mihai. As we have discussed Mihai in the past. So it would be assistance at the back and experienced assistance at the back. He would be coming from Portugal and his time at Famalicão, according to our buddy Nino Torres.
Coincidence?
Yeah, I'm saying, so center back. He's played left and right center back, Albanian by birth, citizenship Albania and Greece. And so we are looking in that direction. So we will see if in fact the beard that is posted on Transfermarkt matches the beard that was shown from behind in the cryptic shots that were included by the Atlanta United video team around 10 o'clock. So born in Rhodes in Greece, center back, 1.86 meters tall, 26 years old, Albanian national player. And let me grab the stats really quickly here. So all seasons, just to give everybody the Anea Mihai refresher course. Portuguese League, Allianz Cup, Champions League qualifiers, time as at Famalicão, Panatolikos, and PAOK Salonika. And so that's stats by club, but most of his time recently as a center back he would be coming from Famalicão on a free. So we'll keep an eye on that. He has been at club without club since July 1st. So he would have been unemployed for the sum total of a day coming in to be a part of the discussion, which is as we roll our way over kind of sort of into Atlanta United, since we'll go from the Five Stripes Don't Stop tweet to discussing players and things. 14,000 followers on the Insta, and we'll go ahead and follow him. We have officially followed him on the Insta, the Gram, and the IG.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
So Anea_Mihai, by the way, on the Insta. So it would be bringing in an experienced defender, and because of the injuries that Atlanta United is dealing with at the back, Steon Gregerson, Derek Williams, he would help out in integrating, because of the stretch run here where Atlanta United is trying to make up a big points deficit, get into the 8-9 like they did last year, and then make noise from here. So that's what we are anticipating. Have not heard anything to say it's another individual, but we are matching beard from promo photo to beard shown from behind, and thinking that around 10 o'clock in the next half hour or so, it will be the former Famalicão center back, Anea Mihai, the right-footed, 6 foot, 160-pound, 26-year-old from Greece that could be added to Atlanta United. So stuff at the back, and nothing like coming back to work and coming back to your first segment, getting to discuss. There you go. You hit the promo mug. There you go.
Yeah.
Getting to discuss experience that you need from a depth perspective coming into this matchup with DC United in a couple of days, where you have had an unsuccessful road trip, and you really need to get 3 points here if you're going to make any kind of a push toward the 8-9.
Yeah, we kind of very quickly mentioned it last night in the press box during the Club World Cup match, but like the hole that Atlanta has to dig themselves out of to make the playoffs at this point is massive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to stick with what I've said the entire year, which is it ain't over till it's over, but it's going to be tough. This signing and any others that may happen, and I will say this, by the way, whoever this signing is,
yes, whomever, yes,
who that may be,
yes,
they won't be eligible to play until July 24th. So
right.
Keep that in mind. But
yes.
The good thing is you get this person in, and he can get situated, and then hopefully come July 24th, jump right in.
Yep.
So you never know. I mean, the summer transfer windows over the past couple of years have done pretty well in terms of like riding the ship. It's frustrating that you have to be in that position in the first place, but you have to start looking at next year. You have to start looking for the long term. And I know we say that a lot. This season has not gone the way anybody had hoped. And I know if you were to ask Garth that, he would say the same exact thing.
Right.
The difference being, I think, at least this year, the vision was pretty obvious. It just didn't play out the way anybody wanted it to.
Right.
But you bring in a guy, again, if it is Mihai, the back line, it's so deep for Atlanta, but it's so fragile at this point. I mean, it's John Gregerson. I love the guy, but he cannot stay healthy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have Luis Abram, who goes every international break. And that may not be different with Mihai because he is Albanian. He does feature for them, but I don't know that he would feature for every window.
Yeah.
But you need somebody that's going to be able to stay healthy. And if you look at his kind of consistency over the past few years, if I'm not mistaken, he had I think it was an ACL. And since then, since he'd recovered a couple of years ago, he's featured in pretty much every possible opportunity he could for the teams that he plays for. So he's a leader as well, which you kind of desperately need to continue to push for leadership on this team.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not going to be the flashy thing probably, but it's a much needed signing. So I think it's a good foundation to have what might be a pretty wild summer transfer window.
Yeah, I'm anticipating something akin to a wild window. Similar players over the last 365 days, according to our friends at FB Ref. Dario Zuparic from Portland Timbers, Aguila from Atletico San Luis, Rowles from DC United. You're looking at Moroni from Italy, Tapias at Chivas, Sampdoria's Alessandro Riccio, Juventude's Adriano Martins, Pedro Alvaro from Estoril, Felix Caicedo from Corinthians. In the last 365 days, assists, he is in the upper quarter of the planet. Passes attempted, he's in upper 40%. Successful take-ons, he is in the top quarter in the planet. And then interceptions and blocks, also in the top quarter in the planet when it comes to picks and blocks. And so having that kind of an individual, if it is in fact an AME high, having that kind of individual to anticipate passing lanes, anticipate passes, positioning, that kind of a thing, that would be the element that I will be intrigued when it comes to seeing, okay, how does he position himself? What is his anticipation like? How does he view things in 3 dimensions, and how does he view his position there as a center back? So keeping an eye on this. Once again, at the half hour, we are anticipating a signing and alluding to an individual that has been linked in the past. So we'll keep you posted. We will keep you posted on that, and then we will hit the grand note in and around 10 o'clock Eastern. So you mentioned decisions and getting ready for next season. Come the end of the calendar year, here are the decisions that have to be made one way or the other for Atlanta United. Brad Gazan, Mateus Click, Derek Williams, Jamal, Luis Abram, Brooks Lennon, Togashi, Josh Cohen, Ronald Hernandez, Edwin Mosqueda, Will Riley, Efren Morales, Matt Edwards, Jay Fortune, Aiden Torres, Jaden Hibbert. Those are the decisions that have to be made one way or the other by the end of the calendar year. Reminders: Saba, Muyumba, Pedro, Noah Cobb, Ashton Gordon, they're all 26s. Gregerson, Miranchuk, Miggy, Luke Brennan, 27s. Bart Sleesh, Latte Lot, and DCQ, they're all 28s. But you have, you're having me do math, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 decisions that have to be made in some manner, way, shape, or form by the end of this calendar year involving this roster that's currently in place.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great day for the burn it all down and start over, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to be very critical when it comes to who you keep out of that group, and there's some in there that are non-negotiable, in my opinion, like Jay Fortune.
Mhm.
You got to stay. And I don't remember everybody else that was on there off the top of my head, but I think like one that sticks out to me is Mateus Click.
Yeah.
I like Click, but I don't know that he's given you enough at this point to justify. Like you essentially got him on a trial plan this year.
You got him for a pack of Marlboros, a 6-pack of Zingers, and some Jolt Cola from DC.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a low risk pickup where you had DC over a barrel, and you were like, yeah, bro, we'll take him off your hands, but I mean, literally, that's it. We will take him off your hands, and the rest is up to you. And DC went out publicly, and they said, yeah, we were effed, and we had to kind of do it. So, it was a low risk, high reward ceiling for Mateus Click, but you just didn't know how healthy he was coming into the year. And he has been, when he was getting healthy, then he had the setback, and now he's getting back to being integrated. So that, health has always been that wild card with any pickup in any circumstance.
Yeah. And then that's the thing. If you go and you do try to re-sign him, knowing that you have Sleesh on the roster until 27, I think it was, you're not going to get rid of Jay. That would be insane.
Yeah.
He would essentially have to either become a DP, or you completely renegotiate everything and say, hey, like this is not going to be a DP contract. It's going to have to be something way less for us to keep you. Right. And you let him make the decision from there. I think, though, Atlanta needs to go out and find the guy for that midfield.
Capital
that can work well. Yeah. Work well with Slish, work well with Jay, but a guy that's going to have the vision to be able to make some of these passes and connect and, control the ball when needed, And I know that's just like I'm saying everything that a midfielder should do.
Well, but we've seen that with Tristan when he's been healthy, and Ronnie, and he has
Yeah.
adapted to what Ronnie Dyla has wanted him to be. Once again, the key phrase in there is when healthy.
Right. And then I think there's a little bit of a consistency thing, though he's been way more consistent this year, barring the injury situation. I mean, it's a struggle. So I think Click is one of those that I just don't know. There's a world in which you keep him.
Yeah.
But I think you really have to look at how you want this team to play, and stick to that identity, because we go back to the beginning of this season with bringing in speedy guys like Latte Lath and Miggy to kind of complement Saba, and you haven't really seen that used, I think, to its fullest potential yet. I don't think I go back last night. I'll give you an example,
Sure.
and this kind of tied into the center back discussion with Mihai that we've kind of been having. But one of the things that excited me when I first saw the rumor about Mihai was his ability from the back to break lines with one pass. And I mean break multiple lines. And this is not a hopeful ball over the top. This is finding that one little space and playing through it. And he does it very well. And I think that's exciting if he's told to do that. And I saw, like Michael saying, like, we don't have an identity. I agree. We're stuck in between two identities that aren't working and complementing the people on the team. Go back to last night. Dortmund's second goal. It's a turnover, and it's a spicy turnover, but nothing called.
Yeah.
Spicy turnover. Immediately picks his head up, plays the ball down the right, past everybody, right into the path. And I'm not going to get names on this one, so forgive me. But
I think it was eventually. I think it was to Adeyemi, and eventually, Adeyemi and Girassi combined on the first two goals, but at the end of it.
But in that ball bypasses again out wide, but bypasses lines, and he's able to control it, kind of work his way, take a little bit of space, and he's got backup runners literally at the halfway line, and he's able to just hold it off long enough to then pick out the gentle little pass to the top of the box, and it's game over at that point. And that's like perfect transition counterattacking soccer, because they have the speed to do it, but then they also have the patience to hold up when they need to and then pick out the right pass instead of just putting it across to somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think whoever you bring in, considering the speed that you have up top, that's got to be part of it. And whoever you let go of has to stick with that identity. If you've got guys on this team that aren't willing or able to make those kind of passes or those kind of runs, I think you've got to move on from them at this point.
And that is the gazillion-dollar question here, because of those 15, 16 names. I mean, you look at what we have seen from these individuals. Brad, obviously, having a renaissance at the age of 40, coming off an Achilles injury and keeping Atlanta in a lot of the matches. Obviously, you mentioned Click. Derek Williams will be a question. Jamal will be a question. Luis will be a question. Brooks is a question. Togashi, I've enjoyed the pickup of Cayman Togashi, because when he has been inserted into the lineup, he has been instant offense, and he has been a very thoughtful player. And I mean that in the sense of understanding game state, situation, what needs to be done, those kinds of things. And he has become also instant offense to get those regular minutes for the twos. Josh Cohen, injured currently, and he is working his way back from injury. Ronald Hernandez, I am of the Ronald Hernandez school of you better keep him, because of all the different places where Ronald can play, and the fact that, much like the younger players that we've seen in this stretch here this season, Ronnie lives and dies by the crest. He understands what it means, and he will go down. He will go down in a mud pit swinging, and not worry about it. And I've always enjoyed Ronald and his depth, emotionally and physically out there. Edwin Mosqueda, Fast Eddie, when he comes in, I think that you use him best when you're looking at, say, 20 or 30 minutes, and you need him to run like hell, and you get somebody like that. Will Riley, I think, has shown that he deserves the opportunities to start if he maintains what Ronnie Dyla is looking for during the week. That we have seen stability from Will Riley in instances. Ephra, I look at Ephra and I see somebody who is not afraid to sit there and mix it up, and I think that you need that at the back. And Matt Edwards, seen him evolve into a role, and Jay Fortune, yes, you got to keep Jay from what you've seen from Jay evolve, and then Aiden Torres. Jaden Hibbert's another sneaky one for me because I think that if Jaden continues to grow on the path that he has been growing, he's going to be challenging for spot starts and match minutes and things like that as you go. So those are your 25s. A lot of interesting thoughts that are going to be going into the 25s here as you get you ready for the end, the window here in 25 coming up in 3 weeks, the rest of the season to give you the decisions, and then what to figure out when you're heading into 26. Did that 5-paragraph essay make any sense?
It did. And one of the things I was kind of wanting to touch on as well that was interesting to me is kind of the goalkeeper situation, because you have Jaden Hibbert, who I think is going to evolve into somebody's starting goalkeeper. And I think it would be great if it could be Atlanta, because the way he plays, again, if you, as we do, pay attention to the twos, the guy is fearless when it comes to playing out of the back, sometimes to his own detriment, but he's very good at it.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a sweeper keeper.
Yeah.
That guy is not afraid to come out of his box at all. I then think the issue lies in you don't want to throw him into the first team next year. If you don't keep Brad and then you don't re-sign Josh Cohen, who, I know everybody has their opinion about him, but he is a veteran goalkeeper at this point.
Yeah.
Then you're throwing the young guy straight into the fire. Yeah. So is there a kind of a 1-year solution for somebody there to step in and maybe not throw Jaden Hibbert straight into that proverbial fire? So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting way that they navigate the goalkeeper situation. I just don't know at this point that I love Brad, but I don't know that you can justify, unless he's okay with doing a 1-year contract. I don't know that you can keep him.
Yeah. And so that's a question that you ask Mr. Gazan when the season is over. And you look at the keeper situation, and it's deep. I mean, you look at Brad, Josh, Jaden, and then coming through the twos in the academy right now, you've got John O'Ransom and James Donaldson. So you're stacked right now with a lot of young keepers that can be a part of that pipeline where we know we are you see the pipeline of left back and center back. Backline there's a pipeline. Keeper is GK Union is starting to develop its own pipeline as well, and so I don't know if traditionally you sit there and you build from the back with your own, and then you bring in the high priced talent at the front to try to build things, but I have always been impressed with the development that we have seen from academy and from the twos with everybody at backline U and with everybody that we've seen with the keepers. So I will be, once again, the Palace intrigue for me is very, very high with the younger players that are coming through. You look at you got to sign Braden Dunham. I mean, you've got to sign Braden.
Yeah.
That one you got to sign him, and obviously DCQ being signed till 28. But yeah, you got to bring Braden Dunham under the umbrella with everything that we've seen from him. A lot of stuff. When is the next twos match, by the way? It is a week from today, actually. It is against FC Cincinnati 2 at 7:30, and I believe that is back at Kennesaw. So with
finally
with the green grass and high tides of the fraction, so we'll get to be back there in a week's time. Michael says both Dortmund's goals were slick, as was Monterrey's. The two-man game that we got to see with Adeyemi and Girassi, that was some pretty stuff. And then Monterrey coming back early second half, and you thought they had the equalizer, but he was offside, and we have Hawkeye to prove once again that in this tournament that folks are even the most littlest of bits offside. When you look at the Club World Cup in general, what has it been like for you to leave, catch up, and see it in person? What's it been like for you to see Club World Cup?
Honestly, it's actually been really fascinating because, first of all, I mean, I love the tournament. We've talked about it before coming up to it. Like, there are things about it that I wish FIFA would have handled better. I said it before it started, like the advertising and the way it was advertised. But overall, I mean, I've loved the tournament. It gives me that same kind of vibe of, again, like the Open Cup or insert whatever cup like that you want. You have the cup sets.
Yes.
You look at what Al Hilal did to Man City the other night, and you just have the stories, the really cool stories, like Auckland City, and then, the Mamelodi Sundowns taking Dortmund 4-3.
Yeah.
Those are fun. But then you also have these like juggernaut matches. Like we're gonna have one at the Benz in a couple of days. Like that's Bayern Munich and PSG is massive.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's just an enjoyable time for me, and I hate that lots of media outlets have gotten stuck on this whole stupid attendance thing. I think it's garbage.
Yeah, it's crap. It's garbage. Yes, I get it. A lot of folks, to your point, check your schedule. When was this match planned?
Right.
Oh, 3:00 on a Monday afternoon. Okay.
Right. What do you expect?
We're going to get right on that. And so you're going to have folks in not in the seats.
Yeah. But, like, so we had the first couple of matches. The day, I think it was, who did Porto play on the 19th?
Porto.
Was it Miami?
Yeah, it was.
It was Miami, yeah. I actually did the show at the Signia that day and then immediately jumped over to the airport to leave.
Yes, you did.
The entire time that I was in Portugal, and I didn't get to watch much TV at all, but I would flip the TV on, or we'd be in a restaurant, and they would be playing the Club World Cup, and I'm like, that's really cool. Now I expect it in a European country that loves football, but you never really know what countries and what regions are going to focus on, like a tournament like the Club World Cup, right? Like this Champions League, it would be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Club World Cup is a little bit different, but I mean, people were talking about it. People were going around wearing the kits for those not just the Portuguese teams, but the teams that were in the Club World Cup.
Huh.
And the coverage there, I thought, was outstanding. So it was really, really kind of intriguing to see how it is in the U.S. media versus how it was at least in Portugal.
And you've got the matchups and the heavyweights, but then you end up with the one that is like, no, I didn't have that one on the bingo card. I did not have the Al Hilal Fluminense matchup at the Citrus Bowl as a quarterfinal. My bracket got blown up. I did not have that one attached.
No, I got totally shafted on that one. I think so River Plate and Boca going out totally screwed me. I was not happy about that because and the thing is, I thought their fans deserved way more. Like the way that their fans showed for every match was amazing.
Yeah.
And it also does nothing for the Argentine versus Brazilian argument because the Brazilian teams have been fire in this tournament. And I mean, besides that though, like, the MLS squads, I think Seattle
got stuck in the group of death.
They gave more than what the score lines and everything show. I think they're going to look back at this one and feel a little shafted because of that group. But I don't know. I mean, it's been an enjoyable tournament for me. I've loved, popping into random matches, maybe ones that like I wasn't paying too much attention to, and just seeing like the different play styles, the different tactics, the different ways that the fans have shown themselves, the atmosphere, the vibes. Like it's just been really fun to watch.
Yeah, and so we are down to the final 8. One, you have the 2 matches Friday at the Citrus Bowl. The 3:00 on a Friday afternoon at the Citrus Bowl.
Why not?
What do you think is going to happen? I'm thinking, late second half. Literally, they are trying to race this thing in to get it there before the afternoon thunderstorms. Did I say that out loud? I mean, literally, and I get it. Look, Al Hilal gets a primetime game in their footprint. I get it. Fluminense gets an afternoon game. So if folks want to, play hooky from work, then they can watch. Then the night game, hey, Chelsea fan, you're the one that's going to have to spend the overnight in your favorite establishment.
Yep.
And then it's a night game for Palmeiras in their footprint. So literally 3 of the 4, they get a decent view. 2 of them get it in prime time. Fluminense, like I said, gets an afternoon game, and Chelsea gets an overnight. Saturday, it's the big matchup here at the Benz with PSG and Bayern Munich. That's at noon, but it's noon on a Saturday, so you kind of get a pass in that one. And then Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund start the cavalcade of matchups in the Meadowlands and the swamps of Jersey, where for the final, and we were doing the research on this yesterday, for the final, if you wanted to get a hotel room within walking distance of the Meadowlands, the Hampton Inn will let you have it for $750.
What the Hampton Inn?
Yeah, 0.3 of a mile from the Meadowlands, walking distance to the Meadowlands. The Hampton Inn is like $750.
That's ridiculous.
And then there were some
That
other,
is insane.
Abby had done the research for us, and there were some other Hilton properties that were not as close, that were like $325, $350 and such. But yeah, if you wanted to get into the Hampton Inn and you were just going to go, or you were incredibly confident in your bracket, $750.
That's insane.
Well, and Ricky with the question, did the Hampton Inn actually forget that they are the Hampton Inn?
Right.
The Hampton Inn saw this as an economic opportunity.
Yeah, that is like Waffle House all of a sudden being like, today I identify as Fogo de Chao.
Today, I feel Fogo de Chao. The only thing missing is a guy in a blue blazer or in a cream-colored zip-up and matching slacks and white tennis shoes.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I mean, it's. I will be intrigued. Having the 2 millionth fan here last night for the tournament, I thought that was really cool.
That was neat.
The storyline attached there was the family had just come into town. I don't think they'd ever been to a Monterrey match, and they finally got the chance to go. And they walk in the door, first time ever seeing a Monterrey match, and they were the 2 millionth fan. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, red carpet.
Yeah, red carpet. You're like, your family of 5 is down there on the field, and you get your Monterrey legend and all that kind of stuff that's attached to everything. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, everyone that is linking themselves to the notion of empty seats, check your schedule there. I mean, seriously. I mean, not everybody's going to play hooky from work in the midweek, in the middle of the afternoon to go. I mean, yes, you're going to have your hardcores. And that's the other thing. The hardcore fans that have made the treks to be in these venues to see this stuff, I've really been impressed with the fans that have made the trips. And I'll even go as far back as the 3252, who literally they were Team 32. You had, I think, 3 of them taking various overnight flights, trying to just take time off of work. Some of them getting delayed in Denver.
With instruments, some of them.
Yes. And then having to figure out, okay, are we going to make it in time? Some of the, I think 2/3 of the fans from the 3252 made it in time to and literally it's like they landed, they raced to the Benz, and then when the match is over, I got to catch a flight and go back.
Yeah. Yeah, which is wild because that's an amount of anxiety that I don't need in my life. So kudos to them. I mean, last night we did the show at the Signia, and there was a table sitting kind of right in front of us. And I don't know, there was probably 10 to 15 because they kept coming in and out. And every one of them had just flown in from Monterrey.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's super cool. And, but I mean, like, so it means something to a lot of these people. I mean, last night, that atmosphere, again, barring the one dumb thing, which I don't want to highlight, but the atmosphere itself was great.
4.5 times that they did the one dumb thing. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like how loud it was in there, just like the energy, like they show, and to be fair, the Dortmund fans did as well. They just weren't as organized, and they were just kind of interspersed throughout.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just thought, even though you had the top was open, obviously, because I think you do that just in case. But the bottom bowl and the 200 section was filled in pretty well.
Yeah.
I didn't even check the attendance last night, but
just north of 31.
Okay. So take that, right? 31,000 is more than you're going to get at most anybody's stadium in any other country.
Yeah.
Most. That's a solid day at the office for just about any club in the world. But because, I was talking with Jason a little bit about this last night, but like, because it's inside of a giant stadium, everybody's like, oh, look how empty it is. Get out of here with that crap. Get out of here with that crap. Like, people still the people that wanted to show up showed up. The people that could show up showed up. Now, could the times be better? Yes. I think you should cater to the people that are actually going to be in person. But I mean, I think it's been great. And yes, price does matter too.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Price does matter. Price sells cars. And that's one of the things that has, I mean, the way that, and looking at it from a Mercedes-Benz perspective, when they do the 43,000 configuration, and it's just lower, the 200s and the 100s, there is bunting and there are curtains that are traditionally attached to that upper deck. They're branded.
Yep.
You can't just sit there.
Giant Atlanta United.
Yeah, you can't go to, you can't go to Pottery Barn or wherever and just say, hey, can we get like some 20-foot tall by 140 yards long curtain and have it ready made that's just red, or that's just red that we can have in the upper deck. I don't think those things are really ready made.
No. And
you can't go to Etsy and say, hey, can we just have you make a nice red curtain? That's not something that's there,
Yeah, and people forget that FIFA is like really particular about the way that their stadiums are laid out. Like, I mean, when it comes like next year, FIFA will not refer to Mercedes-Benz Stadium as Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
You get your corporate sponsorship taken away. You literally are insert city here stadium.
Yep. Even though Mercedes-Benz Stadium will still be on the side of the stadium, I think. I don't think they're
they're really going to have to look out for the cover shots, and you're going to have to really put curtains over everything, and it might just be ground level shots of your B-roll, considering the branding of the automobile. So Ricky said they're going to cover it up.
I mean, the thing is, literally the top of the stadium is the Mercedes logo.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, the Venus flytrap element is the Mercedes-Benz logo.
Yeah.
They're gonna. Oh, please tell Ricky. Please tell me that where if you saw that, they're gonna turn the Benz logo.
I have not seen that, and if that happens,
I have not seen this.
I will laugh and make fun of it every time I see it.
Ricky, please tell me that this is something that you've held for the last 91 days. Since April 1. Please tell me. Thank you. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Just gonna send the news report.
While he's sending that, I will say this one thing really quick.
Sure.
Unrelated to that particular topic. However,
yeah.
I just need to express my profound disappointment in the fact that we will not have a Bellingham derby this week.
Then don't get a yellow card.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I was so mad. Like, that was the story that I wanted to write about, even though everybody else probably would have written about it. I don't care. But I just thought it was such a cool story. And then freaking Job goes and gets the first yellow of the game. And I was like, God, why did you do that? You just didn't want to play your brother. Is what it was.
I didn't want to do it. Okay, so Ricky has posted the link to the YouTube story about what they're going to be doing. So yeah, that's going to be required viewing for everybody.
I'm about to click on this and it's going to be a Rickroll.
Yeah, really. So but yeah, there will be no Bellingham derby this weekend.
Yeah.
And I mean, shoot. Well, but still, Ricky says it's 2 minutes. I know, but I don't want to get I don't want to get us in trouble for showing it, and B, at the same time, I still think that there might be. I'm going to see the date of publish on that thing. If it was April 1, I will become even more wary than I would be otherwise. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so we are feverishly waiting. I'm literally hitting refresh on all of my emails.
Atlanta News First 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so it's Atlanta News First 2 weeks ago. All right, so I'm going to bring Dylan in. We're gonna do a little bit of crossover here. Dylan, good morning. First and foremost, Tyler is hanging with us because we are anticipating a transfer, a free transfer piece of news from Atlanta United. When that happens, then we'll discuss it, and Tyler can go and look at this 2-minute video. It's there. Is it officially there?
Well, I don't know about on their social media, but the moment that it was said that it could be announced.
So at officially 10 o'clock. So like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Here, I'll send you what I have. Now,
okay.
You don't have to. That's up to you if you want to share that. But
come on now.
I just don't want to be that guy.
No, it is official. Okay, so it is official. So we do get the transfer. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the lovely news thingy here. So it is officially official. Atlanta United picks up Famali Cow's former defender Anea Mihai. First signing of the summer. It's on a free. Signing a contract, he will occupy an international roster spot. Signing through 28, option for 29, eligible to play on the 24th. When the secondary window opens, needs to receive his P1 visa and his ITC. Chris Henderson, a couple of sentences. Famali Cow starting 81 of 82 over the last 3 seasons. 90 minutes played in 64 of his 72 starts. So 6'1", 26-year-old Albanian, citizenship with Albania and Greece. So he signed through the 28th season. And there we go, first transfer of the year. So, as always, Tyler, quick thoughts before we get you out of here, so you can have a show to prepare for.
I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. Just having seen his video and kind of his play style, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me again was his ability to just pick out those kind of line-breaking passes, not just the hopeful ones over the top, but I think this team needs it. And again, I think it kind of goes to Atlanta United needs to pick an identity and stick to it. And you talk about who's staying at the end of the year and who is not going to be here possibly. The ones staying are the guys like Latte Lath and Miggy and Saba who have the speed. And I think you just need to play to that, which is if you have to be more of a transition counterattacking type team, then be that. And it starts at the back. And so you bring in a center back who can have that vision and make those passes, then that fits right in my opinion. So okay. I'm excited. And plus there's always just it's fresh and shiny. It's something exciting to take away from the miserable season that we've had so far.
Yes, and I will have Dylan discuss the miserable season that's going on here in Atlanta coming up in short order. So 7 o'clock tonight?
7 o'clock tonight. Yep.
All right.
Sure this will be front on the first part of the show. So
no doubt about it. All right. As always, my friend, great to see you. We'll catch up with you soon, and we'll watch at 7 o'clock tonight.
All right. See y'all.
All right, there goes the big news. The first international transfer. I feel like Bob McKenzie, I feel like Bob McKenzie on free agent frenzy for the NHL. As soon as July 1st hits, then things start working with players that are out of contract, and you're sitting there and you're wondering. But yeah, Atlanta United has made a deal. They picked up an experienced center back, and he has 3 weeks to get everything squared away because it doesn't matter who you sign and how you sign them, they can't play until the 24th when the secondary transfer window opens. When it comes to Atlanta United, Dylan, in your conversations that you've been having with folks in and around the league and just, or over at the water cooler, what have been the main discussions involving Atlanta United, or basically has it just been a bunch of folks sitting there shaking their heads going, man, I had, such a high expectation. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that because I feel like they're the the typical on paper team, right? Like when you say, well, on paper, this team should be like that is Atlanta United to a T this year. Because on paper, they should be one of the best teams in the East, right? That hasn't materialized, and certainly for those in the front office, for Ronnie Dyla, that's got to be just incredibly frustrating because you do your due diligence and you're not just shopping when you go out and try to get these players. You're not just trying to get the best player. You're trying to get the best player that you think will fit into the league, that will fit into your system, into your ethos. And that narrows that window down, right? Significantly. So they did their work. They got the players they thought who would best fit the way that they wanted to succeed. And I don't know anybody who came out and was like, yeah, no, I don't. This isn't looking good. Like everyone thought it would be, good signings. I told you I loved the addition of Ronnie Dyla. And yeah, no, it just hasn't. So it's. I'm not a supporter of any MLS team, but I would imagine just so much frustration for Atlanta United fans because it's like some fans would be like, "Please, can we please spend money and get a guy? Can we stop? Let's not be cheap. That's not Atlanta, right? Can we go out and stop just with the homegrown? Can we get some? That's not Atlanta. So they're checking all the boxes. They're being aggressive in the transfer market. For whatever reason, it just hasn't translated to the results that fans would expect.
Yeah.
So,
And one of the other places where things kind of went kaboom was Toronto.
yeah.
And yesterday it was 2 moves in 2.5 hours where they burned both of their oopsie slots. And Bernardeschi out, Insigne out, and Toronto FC was basically like, yeah, we're done. And I mean, that was it. Just, you want to talk about something that did not work for whatever reason or for whatever reasons, and they thought that it was going to be a great idea. You sign 2 players, I think, to a total of 20 million, one for 15, I think, for one for 6, and it just has not worked. And this season, you're not getting any offense, and it's another miserable season in Toronto where basically you've just kind of taken your 2 oopsies and you're just kind of like, yeah, we're kind of done with this. Teams that spend money, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, they spend money. That's part of their shtick. But after this, I am intrigued. The Palace intrigue for me in Toronto is very, very high. Where do you go from here, considering that Insigne and Bernardeschi was a big, gigantic kaboom?
I don't think you spend all your money on 2 players. That's the it's that's the lesson learned, I think. And again, it was Bill Manning and, they did their homework. Uh, I don't think it's necessarily a Serie A thing because obviously Giovinco was a huge splash, and that's what they were hoping for. They were hoping for Giovinco times 2, right? And obviously it didn't materialize for them. But listen, credit to them. It's like they have been hampered by those 2 contracts, but more so Insigne for years now, right?
Yeah.
And they just realized, and they needed that divorce, and they got it right. So now it's like, all right, listen, that's past us now. We don't have those 2 hulking contracts to worry about. It's a if I'm a Toronto FC fan today, I'm like, you know what? It's a new day. It's good. It's not necessarily for me right now because it's cloudy outside, but the sun is shining, right? And we're moving forward finally. That's what I would think if I'm a Toronto FC fan.
So Bernardeschi, just to have the numbers available, and we like to thank our friends at the MLSPA for this, since they released the new numbers 9 days ago. Bernardeschi had a base of $3,125,000. Guaranteed compensation basically doubled that, 6.3 in guaranteed compensation for Bernardeschi. One of 2, 3, 4, 5 players on the roster that made 7 figures or more. Insigne, 7.5 in salary base, guaranteed compensation at 15.4. And because they're DPs, it only counts 743,000, towards your cap. But you look at 15.4 and 6,200,000. I mean, like we said, it's 21.7, I think, is what you're staring at with those two. And return on investment was very, very low. We mentioned the other players. Brynhildsen is making 1.6. And everybody's sitting there going, Ola Brynhildsen? What's an Ola Brynhildsen? He's not even a household name, and I think in his own household. So Brynhildsen, literally it is Bernardeschi making 6.3, Brynhildsen making 1.6. You have Insigne making 15.4. Sean Johnson making a little over 1 million guaranteed comp, base salary of 621. Richie Larea, who falls down to the tune of 1.169,438. And then Jonathan Osorio, who makes $1,183,000. So he signed a 3-year deal for $1,183,333 per season in guaranteed compensation. So literally, you had all these dudes that were making. You had the 2 dudes making 21.7 total. Then you had another handful of guys making just over 7 figures, and then you have literally Simermancic at 95. Di Rosario at 97.2, and a lot of this is probably league veteran minimum. Nathaniel Edwards at 86.6. Maxime Dominguez at 337. Derek Etienne Jr. at 746. Davey Flores at 656. 2 players at 130. Gomes at 80,000 league minimum. DeAndre Kerr at 125. Kevin Long at 468. Matt Longstaff at 331. Mailula 341. Mbonge at 146. Zane Monlouis at 128. Adam Perlman at 117. Raul Petretta 855. Sigur Rosted, which was by the way, Sigur Ros was a great punk band in the 80s. Don't know about his center back play. 805,000. Sharp at 80. Tyree Spicer at 83. Stefanovic at 93. Thompson at 125. And Wingo at 696. Literally, you have this battle of the extremes almost, where Toronto completely and totally front-loaded with 2 dudes, and they went all in, and it was like Le Chiffre in Casino Royale, When James Bond wins the hand for the $125 million, and Le Chiffre just kind of sits there, and he's going like this, getting the nervous tick. 21.7 on 2 dudes, and you are like wood and spoon material. You're hanging out with those utensils every single season, man.
Right. And that's again, when you swing for the fences and you don't have a balance in your roster, that's part of the problem, right? Like, those for multiple reasons, the designated player is still in this league.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hit on them. Like, you have to. They have to bring production. Like those, that's where you see the player 5 times. That's when you speak to 20 different people. That's when, like, you have to do the most amount of homework on a DP, because, you only get so many per roster. And if it fails, it's, it's so difficult to get out from under that. So
because you front load your DPs, and then you've got to fill in with guys that you think are going to be the good complementary players that will help you along in this process, that you don't have to sit there. It's like, you can go to Wegmans and you can, go down like aisle number 4 and you can help you out. It's like, yeah, I really want to go to the frozen food section or the meat section, and I really want to get a good steak or get a good couple of steaks. But you might kind of skimp on the baked potato a little bit. You might skimp the salad a little bit. You might get the Wegmans salad as opposed to getting like the frou-frou lettuce, those kinds of things. And if that meal turns out to be ish, then you're going to kind of question. I don't know if Toronto's going to question themselves, considering that's their MO, though. I think that they're just going to sit there and go, "Oh, we signed Dave Kingman twice, and it didn't work. We'll just do it again." It just seems. What is it about history? Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. I see. It's like we seem to see that with Toronto a lot, though.
But I'm not sure we're going to see it like this again. Like I think there'll be a little bit. You would hope there'd be a little bit more balance with it. Yes, they're going to go after big names, no doubt about it.
And hopefully, dudes that won't go after coach after coach after coach.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That's the other thing. It's like you had these dudes that literally it was like what? Bradley, Dunfield, and Herdman.
Herdman, yeah.
Where you had those two or versions of those two, one or the other or both, having run-ins, public or otherwise, with those coaches. And so it seemed like you had two dudes that were making all the money, and they didn't like what the coach was doing. They were just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And you're at the bottom of the standings. So
and when it's multiple coaches, you're like, yeah, exactly. I wonder where that's, what side of the, are we going here?
Is it the player or is it the coach? And when it happens with multiple coaches, as you say, you kind of sit there and you're kind of like, well, maybe it might not be the coaches. It's just when you have to burn both your oopsies within a 2.5 hour period. I mean, it's good that you had both your oopsies to burn them, but I mean that was that
it was good. It was it was good fella like when they're playing Clapton, Layla, and all the bodies just show up. And they're like, yeah, he was cutting all ties with the Lufthansa. I can't pronounce it right, but Lufthansa heist.
Yeah, the Lufthansa heist.
Yeah.
Yes,
and all the bodies, like one's coming out of the, that was more than two oopsies there, but
yes. But yeah, the Lufthansa. You have to slow down to say Lufthansa. Lufthansa. Yeah, you have to sit there and say it slowly. You look at where we are heading into the weekend, and it's just Atlanta gets Toronto in a couple of weeks, so that one's going to be an interesting matchup coming through.
New York City gets them tomorrow.
Yes. So do we know why this whole Thursday night thing has started? The midweek stuff has started with NYCFC?
I mean, I would just assume it's ballpark related. Just between the two venues and turning fields over kind of thing. So.
Oh, come on. You get the Union guys out there and they could they could turn it quick. No, nope, sorry, 8-hour day. Nope, we're good. How busy, since we led into your segment with Atlanta United picking up a player after the fiscal year and getting experience at the back, how busy do you anticipate the summer window being when it comes to Major League Soccer?
I think pretty busy. I think we saw it last year, right? Like it was pretty busy because it was so competitive for spots. And I think we're there again, right? There's no runaway teams for anything. There's no runaway teams for Shield or for the most part, I would say the majority of teams are still in playoff contention, right? So I think if you look at tiers, like top tier going for the Shield, middle tier going for home playoff games, and then the third tier of trying to get above the line, I think there's so much competition there that, teams that are smart, and think about this too, this is scary. San Diego purposely lined themselves up to be able to get a big player potentially in the summer. That was all part of what they had talked about in the beginning. Like we're not going to go out and get all our DPs right away. What if one doesn't hit? What if the way we think we're going to play, we've got to change it. We need to have that flexibility. They have that flexibility for the summer. So that's a scary proposition considering how well they've played to this point.
And hitting on folks like Tavares Skov and Anders Dreyer. Who is your coach of the year, by the way? Then is it Mikey Veras or is it Jesper Sorensen? Or is it off the board?
For a while, you would have said Sorensen was the runaway guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I mean, if San Diego wins the Shield,
yeah,
like
you can't say no at that point.
No, 100%. Yeah. I think those are those are your two guys for sure. Like Bradley Carnell's done a great job at Philly, but I think an expansion team at the top of the table has not happened. At least Carnell, he goes into a new, a new place, but there's already an establishment there, right? Varys walks in, there's still paint, drying on the walls. So, yeah, he would be the guy to me, but Sorensen has been outstanding as well. But again, too, he had, a lot of those parts he had there already.
Yes. So the Vanni Sartini influence, Jesper Sorensen basically just sat there and it's like,
just tweaked.
Yeah. Oh, I like this. I like this Volvo. I like this Honda Accord that we have here. I think I'll continue driving it. And so you just make sure that you do regular maintenance and you make sure that you got your insurance and your tags and you make sure that you got 4 good tires and you get the oil changed and everything's fine.
Are you not to, I know it's a well past Wednesday, so I shouldn't apologize for switching gears.
No, you should
mention cars.
Oh, there you go.
But are you a Georgia Bulldog fan?
No. Bite your tongue. No, the boss is an Auburn alumna.
Okay.
So we have a cross-conference marriage. Most of the folks that are in our footprint are probably something Georgia or Georgia adjacent. We do have some Auburn folks in the timeline. I am the ACC person in our marriage.
Okay.
I am a Florida State grad. Gotcha. So I have put up with all of our ish over the last couple of years. And the boss enjoys seeing me basically pull what's left of my hair out of my head, considering how bad we have been the last couple of seasons and how I'm not a fan of our current coach and our current structure.
I had asked because I had the unique experience on Monday of hosting a college commitment show on Varsity Media on our YouTube.
There you go. Hit
channel.
It. There it is.
For a defensive tackle, Preston Carey, 6'5", 300 DT, narrowed his 4 offers down to Georgia, Florida, Auburn, and Rutgers. He played a couple years up here at St. Anthony's, transferred down to IMG Academy last year. 4-star guy. But this commitment was at Oheka Castle, which is in Huntington. It is, your high-end wedding venue type of place. It was a black tie affair.
Well,
they had event planners, valet parking, the whole.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was wild. So ultimately, he ended up. He chose Georgia.
Yes, so. that is true. And it is not the first time that Georgia has turned themselves into a national brand. You can go back as far as Noshawn Moreno and his time in New Jersey in high school football there. Ryan Puglisi in Connecticut. He's a quarterback that they recruited from up there. So, yes, Georgia has been known to expand their brand up into the Northeast. But Preston Carey, that's 6'4", 3 spins, and black tie. All right, so run that by me one more time. So, what was this? So, what was this place? What was this place called?
Ohika Castle.
Okay.
You do a quick
I am
Googling of it.
I am doing a quick Googling. Okay, so Ohika, 135 Westgate Drive, New York, Huntington, New York. Okay, so Ohika Castle, historic hotel in Huntington, Long Island. Europe in America, quoting Ohika Castle their own selves, which reminds a lot of folks probably of Biltmore Castle here in the southeastern United States. Gatsby Hour in OHK, celebrating the 100-year anniversary of the Great Gatsby. They've got nice little drone cams or dolly shots.
Yeah, this was in the library that was there. I don't know if they have a shot of that, but
weddings, events, small corporate retreat package, celebrations and events. Let's check celebrations and events. Party like it's the 1920s. Versatile event space. There's a gift shop, and apparently it is one of the historic hotels worldwide. A 6-star Diamond Award, but it was 14 years ago. Hey, they put that up. It's Historic Hotels of America, 6-star Diamond Award from the American Academy of Hospitality Sciences from 2011. AAA has them as a 4 diamond, and OHK Bar and Restaurant has their own stamp on it as well. But literally, it was in the library at Ohika Castle.
Yeah, and it was funny because we did a close to an hour show, I want to say.
Just this kid?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a lot of different graphics. We had a tunnel.
It's the decision.
Basically it was.
Oh my gosh.
This was a kid who his first offer was as an 8th grader, Brian Kelly, LSU. They had him down at his camp, and as a 13, 14-year-olds beating up dudes who are like 18, so but Georgia was one of his first offers as well. He had a couple of former teammates at Rutgers. His sister just graduated Auburn. So there was a lot of intrigue among the different schools that he was choosing from. But I have never had a college commitment ceremony quite like this.
Well, I'm hoping that, the steak looks pretty good at the OHK Bar and Restaurant, but it does look like you stepped into the Great Gatsby.
Yes, and actually he is a fan of the Great Gatsby, which is one of the reasons why they chose this venue.
Wow. Okay. Celebrating the art of entertaining since 1919, when financier and patron of the arts Otto Herman Kahn commissioned celebrated architects Delano and Aldrich to design his palatial country residence to accommodate Kahn's fondness to host lavish parties. Flash. Oh my gosh.
2 years earlier, KJ Duff, who's currently at Rutgers, we did his college commitment. It was at the Main Event, a local sports bar that felt more in line, I think, with
oh God. Yes. Yes.
But yeah, no, it was wild. It was and I don't even know what we were up to viewership wise. At one point there were like 1,000 people watching it live, and I think maybe 12 or 13,000 altogether.
Wow. Okay. So what's going on with MLSsoccer.com on the weekend? When are you on the desk tonight for national team?
I am not. I'm actually going, as you know, I'm a Yankees fan, but I'm going with 3 of my best friends. We all went to St. John's together, going to the Mets game.
Oh.
Mets and Brewers.
My apologies.
I mean, look, they're all Mets fans. One of my friends is in from Arizona, so like we don't see him a lot. So
okay, all
right. Going to that. I'm on the desk tomorrow for NYC Toronto.
Sorry.
And then on again Saturday, and then I'm hosting the boys out here Sunday. So trying to figure out what's on the menu. What am I cooking up? I'm not sure yet.
Sabrettes. Just get Sabrettes.
Dude, that's what Tim asked for. So I do have them. But now what do I couple with that? Do I do burgers and dogs?
Steak and dogs. If you're gonna,
I thought of that. Yeah.
yeah, do like steak and dogs or burger and dogs.
Last year I did ribs. Year before that I did steak.
Okay.
Did some wings. So
okay, all right. Well, we anticipate a full report coming up next week.
I suppose, right?
Yes. And so, do you have your Yankees mug with you this morning? There you go. As always,
We'll not be bringing this to Citi Field tonight.
Oh, that'd be kind of funny though. You smuggle it in, you sit there, and you sit there and you take your beer with it. As always, my friend, great to see you on Wednesdays to talk about everything Major League Soccer and whatever else is on your mind. Enjoy the guys, and we want a full report card coming up next week.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, there goes Dylan and his Yankees mug, and so now it's time for the hot change. It's a new day. It's a new day. New day, and this is where we bring in Kaylor Hodges from a different time zone, God's time zone, as if you were to ask God himself. So Kaylor now joins us at least on a Wednesday because you have a new gig, sir.
I do. Still teaching, but just a different place. But granted, I'm just at home because, well, I'm teaching, and that's what teaching's for, is for summers, right? So still at home, but yeah, got a new gig, so we might have to figure out the monthly schedule. But
yeah, so we figured what we would do here in the off season at least is have Kaylor join us on as he is transitioning from one gig to the next in the off season. We figured what we would do is have Kaylor discuss everything going on a Wednesday in the month that was and the month that will be when it comes to Championship, League One, Gainbridge, Super League, and all points in between. First off, let me start with a home question. Mark Briggs in Birmingham is not one to sit there and be a fan when things aren't going the way that he anticipates that they should go. Yeah, he is, and he's not one to mince words either. What's it been like to cover the early section of the Mark Briggs administration there with Legion?
Not mince words is correct. There was he will give the players praise, right? He's not just a I hate everyone, good job, you did what you were supposed to do, now don't lose again kind of guy. Like, he gives praise where it's absolutely deserved. But he had mentioned the fact that Legion had not won back-to-back home games in over a year now. And he mentioned the fact of, like, these players have not won a home game in back-to-back weeks or in like back-to-back home games in over a year. That's not okay. And I asked him, I was like, how do you find captains? How do you find leaders from a team that's had struggles, right? Like, how do you find those leaders? Because you can only say so much. It has to come from the captains. And he said straight up, and I don't have the exact quote here, but he said along the lines of, what you're getting into when you're taking a job mid-season. Your cards are already dealt. We just have to make the best of what we got. And that said, he'll also publicly praise every single one of these players. So it's not there's no talent here, right? Because even in Legion's draw then lost to Indy in the Jägermeister Cup, he said that it was the best performance he had seen from the team. And they missed a lot of chances. It should have been 4-0, 5-0 in this match, but it wasn't. But he still praised because he said it was a great performance all around. So he doesn't mince his words. When he says something, he absolutely means it on both sides of the coin.
So, you look at where things stand right now in USL Championship, and it is the standard street fight in the Eastern Conference, the way that it always is. And Rhode Island, we've had Michael Parkhurst on occasionally, and he is still wondering. He'd love for goals to be scored by Rhode Island, but my guess is Rhode Island, they're going to make that rush like they always do late in the year. It's the same.
Has he been on yet this week?
Not this week. It's traditionally on Fridays.
Okay. On Friday, are you going to ask him about Kano on the roof?
I can.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking
You're
about?
He
got sent off in the Jägermeister Cup, and he went to the roof of the stadium and watched the game from the roof. Like a cameraman found him on the roof, and he was just standing there watching the game with, I think it was Michael. I couldn't tell who the other person was, but I think it was Michael. I think they were both just watching the game from the roof because he got sent off, which was awesome.
Kano on the roof. Okay, so I have that written down and circled. So we'll ask about Kano on the roof. Eastern Conference right now, it is pretty much the way that it has been as far back as there has been electricity. Lou City and Charleston up top, and then there's a gap. Then you've got that second group, the Chase group and the Peloton, Loudoun United, North Carolina, Detroit City, and then it's the street fight to get it to stay in the playoffs or get into the playoffs. Pittsburgh, the Miami FC, Rhode Island, Indy 11, Birmingham, and Tampa Bay. 6 teams separated by 6 points. Hartford Athletic right now struggling after their first 12 at 2-7-3. So to your point, there are the folks that we know, the folks that are chasing, and then that third group of folks trying to maintain. When you look at the Eastern Conference in those 3 groups, what has stuck in your head so far?
I had made the comment on Hammering Down a few weeks ago where I said that 7 points from the next 6 matches would be enough to keep you in the playoff race in the East. That sounds like an insane statement. Over 1 point a game keeps you in the playoff race, but it absolutely does. If Legion kept to their points per game, they'd be on 14 points. They might be finding themselves in 8th place. Right? A point a game is enough to stay in the playoffs. Every team is so combative that really all you need is to not completely fall off a cliff and lose multiple matches in a row. If you can keep it to a draw a game, you're going to be in the playoff hunt. If you're looking at your Loudons, your North Carolinas, your Pittsburghs, your Detroit Cities, more so Detroit City than Pittsburgh, you're saying, okay, we can fight for a home playoff spot. We are realistically in here, and barring a completely lossless month, even 6 weeks, we're going to be in the playoffs. We're already safe. It's that final 5 through 8 that is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the recent form, North Carolina FC. God, that reminds me. I've got to get that Dean Linke drop. North Carolina FC, they've won 4 of their last 5. Detroit City has stumbled. They've lost 3 of their last 5, and that's kind of pulled them back toward that third group that we talk about. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh has won 3 of 5, and then you start to get into the folks that are kind of hiccuping their way through everything. Right now, as you look at these 3 groups, and I'm just going to go ahead and include everybody short of Hartford Athletic, biggest surprise outside of Lou City and Charleston, either good or bad in the Eastern Conference, has been whom?
I mean, the conversation does start with, I think, Loudoun, right? And it should be Loudoun. We did our midseason best 11 last night on the USL show, and Ryan Martin was our coach of the year to this point. Atifa Abukara was our left wing. Keegan Tingy is our right back. When's the last time you've seen 3 people from Loudoun United mentioned in a best 11? Right? That's just kind of where they are right now. They're a quality team. The other one I think people are going to be mostly shocked by, I think, is going to be Rhode Island, because they went on their hot streak last year. And the difference between this year and last year is they're not drawing anymore. They're just losing. And so I think that Rhode Island is shocking people. And there's a lot of Rhode Island fans who are mad, like wanting Kano Smith to be fired. And I have made the point of they spent big last offseason. They spent on Maxi Rodriguez. Oh, and they bought a whole stadium, right? They just did that whole purchase. I don't know what their funds are like, but I can tell you my wallet will be a little bit emptier if I just built a stadium. We don't know what kind of funds they're working with. And if you look at this team on paper and you get JJ Williams, a completely different squad that I think Rhode Island fans might be overreacting a little bit. But I think the broader spectrum, you would say Rhode Island, last year's runners-up in the league, being just an 8th would probably be the big shock. Miami, if you look at what they did last year compared to this year, you would be shocked, but also watch a game. I promise you they are amazing. They are an amazing team. They are really, really good. And I've been saying that for about 4 months now, that they are a good team. I just watch them. They are quality.
You had me going down the rabbit hole into the gear shop at Rhode Island FC, and they've got their wicked good soccer gear out. And then, of course, I'm going to the poorhouse probably later on in the year when it comes to getting their stuff. Western Conference, and in the West,
Yep.
your street.
If you thought the East was bad,
Yeah, well, yeah, you've got your. Well, the thing is that you've got your street fight that's in group number 3 in the Eastern Conference. Legitimately, there is no third group. It is 2 separate groups in the Western Conference. New Mexico United, El Paso, and for guys like Duke Keith, who are amazingly talented play-by-play guys who are part of the fabric of their communities. I'm glad that Duke is getting the chance to call winning soccer right now in El Paso. New Mexico at 25 points, El Paso at 23, Tulsa and San Antonio, and then San Antonio is hitting each column, the win, the draw, and the loss. They're at 21, behind in goal difference to Tulsa. Phoenix Rising, they've won. They're unbeaten in 4 of their last 5. They're at 20 points. Monterey Bay's lost 4 of 5, but they're at 19 and 6. Vegas has lost 3 of 5. They're at 18 points. They're in 7. Sacramento, they're hitting each column. They're at 17 points, and they've got a match in hand, if not 2. They're in 8. Orange County's at 16 points, having lost 3 of 5. Switchbacks are at 15 points. Roots are at 14 points. They have 1 more win than Lex SC. What in the blue, what is going on in the West? Literally, it's like 2 groups. And if you've got a good week in you, in Lexington, you could be 5th, and you're at the bottom of the Western Conference right now. What the heck is going on in the West?
If you have a good week in you, if you're Lexington, how about 3 wins in the last 3? How about 10 points from your last? What is that? Is that 5? They are getting hot, right? Oakland is getting good. I mean, Oakland has transformed themselves into being a very, very good team defensively. They were built on the defense, and now with the addition of Amore Donor, they have a great squad. All of Atlanta United's favorite player on the Oakland Roots team, and Jurgen Dahm, right? He's playing left wing back out there. That's a good squad. Sacramento is weird, is where I'm going to leave it. Defensively, very good, but their attack has no teeth. I saw them in person a few weeks ago, and I understand that, you could say this is me being a little bit biased towards Briggs being the coach of Birmingham now, but I have never seen a Sacramento team that toothless before. And they have good players in the attack, really good players in the attack, but they're just toothless. And I'm intrigued to see what Neil Collins is going to do with that squad, because everybody thinks they're going to be the sleeping giant, but when are they going to wake up? There's going to be conversations around El Paso. They've been stumbling as of late. They go as Andy Cabrera goes. If he's not scoring, they're not winning. Luckily for them, he just keeps scoring. So good on, it's great. But if he has a dry spell, they're in bad trouble. New Mexico feels like the absolute cream of the crop when it comes to the league, or the West anyway. And I understand that's easy to say as they are top of the West, but they're not sexy. They don't play necessarily attractive football under Sanchez. It's not ugly. It's not Bob Lilly style football, but it's not attractive. But they keep winning and they look good. And the issues they had last year where teams would just sit in a low block and just beat them on the counter, they've gotten over that. They are fixing their kryptonite. And I think that's an issue for the rest of the league.
No doubt. You look at but that's sometimes what you need to do. It's just like you come in, you stabilize things, and you end up after that first season of trying to stabilize things. And I'm referencing El Paso here. that you bring in Wilmer Cabrera, and you're just kind of like, okay, let's just calm things down, get it settled the way that Wilmer wants it done. It may not be the prettiest thing in the world, but over time, it's going to be successful if you're patient with it and let him kind of do his thing. And that to me seems like that's what has happened there in El Paso with Wilmer Cabrera. And you see the results right now that early returns are halfway point-ish part of the season, 1/3 of the way. You're second in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I mean, with Rio Grande Valley, rest in peace, Toros, but like the Wilmer Cabrera had them constantly as the 7th or 8th best team in the West, and they almost always won on the very last game of the season to somehow sneak in, and somehow they're going to beat the best team in the West every single year in the playoffs and then do nothing else. That was the Wilmer Cabrera special. If you told El Paso fans that was going to happen this season, they would have thrown a party. The fact that they are able to be second in the West and complain about results and be upset about results tells you how good they have been this year. I do think that they need a little bit more help, a little bit all over the pitch. Their bench gets very thin very fast. If they get an injury to that team, I'm worried that could fall apart. But in general, I think it's a solid space for them to be in.
So you look at where things are once again. It is that first group, and literally, I don't know where to separate it. Honestly, maybe
there's no line.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like 8 get in, and it's 2 groups, but it's all like literally 11 points separate top to bottom in the Western Conference. Where if we thought we had 3 separate groups, and I know that a lot of folks are looking at Charleston and Lou City and going, yeah, okay, they're the class, and then everybody else is chasing. The Western Conference looks like it's going to beat the crap out of each other for the entire season. It's going to be fun for us who cover it, but it's going to be an absolute pain for the fans and for the front offices trying to figure out how they can stay above the playoff bar.
If I'm looking at one team here, I am circling Lexington right now, and part of this is because of the news that finally surfaced the other day, with their director of football and the interim head coach for the women's team, Sam Stockley, being suspended by the league. And as of yesterday, he is officially the academy director at Stoke City. He had built that entire team. And there has been talk of I'm going to call it a shadow GM going on there. There is conversation that someone from the league office in Sam Dorr has been running the club, essentially. And ever since, allegedly, Dorr took over, they've been winning and winning a lot. So Sam Stockley was the first ever head coach of Lexington. He was the one that built it all from the head, from the ground up. And he's gone now. And he was suspended on the way out. And ever since he's been gone, Lexington's been winning. If for the first time in club history, Lexington has good vibes going on there, look at the team they have on the field. It's arguably the best team in the league if you look at the players that they have available to them, because they have every player available to them. So it is a good squad, especially in this West. If they can go on a run, don't be shocked if Lexington's hosting a playoff game.
Fox 56 in Lexington reporting on what was going on for those that may not know the background. Interim head coach of the Women's Super League team has been suspended for 3 matches, accused of creating a hostile environment. This is going back to the 26th of June. Another team administrator also placed on probation by USL. Stockley took over as interim coach in March. He'd been with them since 2021. Documents obtained by Fox 56 show the league investigated reports of emotional and verbal misconduct by Stockley, including harassment that may have created a hostile work environment. A law firm conducted 22 interviews and found that he violated the league's anti-harassment policies, served a 3-game suspension from May 9 through June 2, and is now on a 6-month probation. Once again, this is as of the 26th of June. Lex SC never publicly addressed the suspension until Thursday. 2 paragraphs, quote, independent investigation conducted through the USL Safe Space program into allegations involving the technical staff of Lexington Sporting Club's women's team Based on the findings, appropriate action has been taken. Lexington Sporting Club and remains committed to maintaining a culture of safety, respect, and open communication throughout our club and community. Out of respect for all involved and adhering to safeguarding best practices, the club will not be commenting further. So USL declined to comment, and so that's where the news came from, was from Fox 56 and the report by Dustin Massengill back on the 26th of June.
Yeah, and I talked to one of my sources within the club who will remain anonymous. He did say that there was nothing physical, no physical abuses going on, that it was purely verbal. And while no specifics have been reported on what was said, I think everybody's fear when it comes to harassment policies in women's soccer, the fear is it was some kind of sexual misconduct. According to this source, it was not. It was purely about performance on the pitch. So, not saying that makes it okay, but breathe a little sigh of relief that he's not like a monster. He's just like a really mean guy, which there is a difference. But I know there was some questions about what it might have meant, like reading in between lines. I would just, from my source, it was just purely poor performance led to just super rude and just super mean comments that crossed a lot of lines, but nothing of that.
Then also today at 1 o'clock at Jacksonville Episcopal, you have a rather large announcement from Sporting Jacks. Women's Gainbridge Super League team, they're going to be major announcement during the event, media outlets attending, another milestone for Sporting Jacks. And so Sporting Jacks is having a big day, and obviously that's going to be broadcast live this afternoon. But Sporting Jacks continues to roll things forward as they get ready for the Super League season.
Yeah, and they are another key footprint in the Super League in Florida, right? The Super League final wasn't all Florida affair between Fort Lauderdale and the Sun, which if you didn't watch that match, it was awesome. On top of that, the Sun are building their own stadium, which is supposed to be the largest women's only soccer specific stadium in the country, bigger than Kansas City's stadium. And that's supposed to be the new home of USL HQ as well. So go ahead and get off your like tinfoil hat theories on why the Sun are the most favored team in the league. But yeah, Jags has slowly been building up into this, and they're going to be coming into a really hot product. The Super League was awesome. I mean, I watched every single match throughout the year, and it was good soccer. It was really good soccer. And the players that they're signing, they're picking out really good college products. If they can start making use of some of the free agents that are available now in the Super League that played in the league before, they're going to be competitive. And while the details of this announcement are obviously not yet public, and y'all will see when it does happen, it's big for them. It's very exciting. And it's just another step forward. And if you're someone who's not very women's soccer minded, this is just giving you more hope and proof that the men's side is coming. Right? If you can get the women's side off the ground, chances are you can also get the men's side off the ground. Unless you're Brooklyn and you're having to deal with like New York, like real estate, which I wouldn't want to deal with that either. So
they get Hibs women on August the 2nd, Wrexham's women on August 10th. And their home opener is DC Power on August 23rd at Hodges. And so big day in Jacksonville today, and that is going to be really cool to keep an eye on that. Okay, USL League One before we get you out of here and continue into your summer. We can get into Jägermeister if you'd like and find out what's going on there. We're still, I think, pretty early in Jägermeister Cup in and of itself. Standings in League One, Spokane. They've only lost once in their first 13, so they're off to a great start in Spokane.
Good team.
Then there's a gap to Charlotte, and then a further gap. But then we talk about that third group, and it's AV Alta, FC Naples, and Texoma right now above the playoff line. It looks like Texoma might have found their sea legs a little bit. They're unbeaten in 5. They started out with an offer, and now they're right now in the playoff picture. So the younger teams and the newer teams in League One right now above the playoff bar, Spokane and Charlotte, they've distanced themselves. But once again, Greenville and P-Hop, Portland Hearts of Pine, they're only 2 points or 3 points out of a playoff spot. Union Omaha's only 4 points out of a playoff spot. Same with Tormenta and Westchester. Forward Madison, they get a good week. They've only won once so far this season in their first 11. But USL League One seems to be its normal round of chaos, and the new franchises are doing well.
Yeah, and I think other than Texoma, which they recently fired their CEO, he was kind of removed, and they did not really announce it. It was just kind of noticed. Like all the new teams invested. Even Westchester invested big time. You saw investment early on. Spokane has invested in that squad. I like their entire team. I think we were almost going to have 4 Spokane players in our best 11 last night. That's the kind of level that they're at in terms of just how much talent they have on that team. We end up kind of figuring out some other players along the way, but they were in that conversation. When you're looking at teams like Greenville, right, I think they're making a turn. I think that they are making a turn for the best now. Look at what they're doing in the Jägermeister Cup, like taking down a Charleston, taking down a Miami. They have proved to be very good in taking on those upper teams, to the point that you almost just wonder if whatever they're doing in the Jägermeister just keep doing that in the league. And they've started, and it's starting to turn around. Union Omaha, if they can just find someone to score a goal every other game, they'll be fine, right? They will be totally okay. And I think in general, this is going to be a competitive league. But until someone can prove to me that they are actually better than Spokane, it is just Spokane's league. I think Spokane could unironically beat half the teams in the championship. They are that good. Defensively, they are rock solid. They have goal scorers all over the place. It is an embarrassment of riches. Neil Vinyals is coming in off the bench for them, a guy who I wanted to be starting in the USL Championship this year is on the bench for them. It's an embarrassment of riches from Spokane. But maybe the biggest League One news dropped yesterday from Hudson River Blue.
I was going to ask about this. I had 2 rapid fires to wrap it up with you.
The Cosmos are back, baby. Let's go.
And that's part of it because there is talk that North Jersey Pro is going to have they're having a media event, and go to Hudson River Blue to get all the details. But it appears that the Cosmos may be back. I mean, obviously, you can't really call them the New York Cosmos if you're playing in New Jersey, but that hasn't stopped Red Bulls or anybody else. It might just be the return of the Cosmos.
Yeah. So we talked to Michael Batista last night. So that is he's the one who wrote this article, got the scoop. Yeah. We talked to him live on the show, and he kind of talked about in the past, there were times when they played in New Jersey, because they've done it before in the history of the Cosmos, that they just called themselves the Cosmos. They just dropped in New York. Yeah. So it's not out of the realm. And if you look at the office that's being built there, is being built of former Cosmos people and former NASL people. That is who is kind of running the club. So this is a return of the Cosmos. Now, I asked the question, is this a return of the club, or is this a return as just like purely cosmetic? Is this, as the way Michael Batista said it last night, is this a make way of return of Forward Madison's and Oakland Roots, where you're a t-shirt company, right? Is this just to sell the brand and you're the t-shirt company called the Cosmos? Maybe, but you're still bringing back a historic name, as a historic club. And if you're starting that off as your branding, you're going to have a leg up on a lot of other teams, and purely out of support. And so we talked about it last night. He seems pretty certain that it is the Cosmos. And according to his inside sources, they pretty much told him it's all but confirmed to be the Cosmos.
There's the here's the link to the article for anybody that wishes to make that required requested reading for the morning. There's your Hudson River Blue Peas. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you about on this go round: Athletic Club Boise, yay or nay? That's a thumb sideways if ever there was one.
So I like the idea because their whole thing was that they wanted to really go into the Basque region because they have a Basque population in Boise. Which, did you know that they had a Basque population in Boise? Apparently, it's 3,500 people there in Boise, which is a number. I don't know if that's enough to make your entire branding the Basque region. I don't know. Everybody on the planet was rooting for blue. Everybody wanted the all blue crest, the all blue everything. And everybody was very disappointed that a sixth green team has joined the league, but it's fine. To me, it's more Sassuolo than it is Atletico Bilbao, but whatever. Honestly, it's fine. The one thing that's very funny to me though is that if you look on the eye, there's like a little bit of purple in there. So they beat out green and purple before USL New Orleans could ever get here, which I just find hilarious. So, suck it, New Orleans. You should have been here first.
Debuting in spring of 26, Athletic Club Boise. They had their big announcement, and 1,200 residents came up with the idea. And there are some things that are distinct in the logos, and you got to look at it. But yes, so what I'll do is also for required requested reading, I will give you the link from the league's official presentation.
I will also say this. If they go to the blue field and they wear green, it's just a colorblind person's absolute biggest nightmare. There's a part of me that wants to see it happen purely because, like, where are they? This is the colorblind test that they put on the thing. Can you see the number? Do you see soccer players on this field? Yes or no? No, colorblind, right? I don't know, but they had a great turnout, and I hope them the best. I think it's great. Our friend Ryan Allen mentioned it last night. What if they do the Atletico Bilbao thing of they can only sign people from the Cascadia region? Like, you can only get people from up there, and I don't know. I kind of like the idea. I don't know how good they will be if they can just poach players from the Vancouver, the Seattle, the Portland academies and just say, come play here, and that's close enough. I don't know. I support it. It's quirky enough for me to get behind.
I can see what's going on, but yes, the details about the logo and the rationale behind it. Lightning motif featuring a peregrine falcon, the fastest animal on Earth, and symbolizing speed, precision, and Boise's raptor conservation legacy. Basque-inspired topography, inspiring mountain peak framing the top of the crest, demonstrating a standard of excellence, not just in geography, but in character. A bold V formation that has nothing to do with the Mighty Ducks, evoking the Treasure Valley's geography and unity, and star garnet, Idaho State gem representing resilience and transformation. Rich purples, deep greens, and earthy neutrals, mountain dusk, lupine bloom, and raptor shadow. Those are the official colors.
They mentioned all the speed and we're doing all this different stuff. And it kind of reminds me of DC Power's initial press announcement where they had the big wing on there and this is to signify our fast wing play. I'm like, you haven't played yet. How do you know you're going to use wing play? How do you know, as far as you know, you're going to be just some bosses up the middle and never play a single ball out wide? You don't know that.
I mean,
I kind of hate crest explainers. It's one of my toxic traits of every time I read one, I roll my eyes and get progressively angry.
Yes. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on all that stuff. All right. So what's going on with you and the USL show, considering that you guys had your USL show last night?
Yeah, I mean, best 11. If you want to see our best 11, it's on all of our social media pages. And if you want to hear our explanations, the YouTube video is available, and it's all in your podcast players, including talking about Sam Stockley. We talk about the Cosmos. We talk a little bit about Boise. And then we get into the best 11. At the end of this month, we're going to be in Portland. So that is happening this month. We are very excited. We're finishing up the details, but we've got hotel rooms booked, flights ready to go. So We are very excited to be seeing Bob Lilly and Portland taking on Portland Hearts of Pine, which we are going to keep our promise of. We will stay live on air post game as long as Bob Lilly is on the field.
Adam.
We will keep that promise. And if for some reason I can't be there, I'm going to force John Morrissey to keep that promise for me.
As always, my friend, great to see you at the USL show. And there is the at the USL show scarf as a part, always there as a part of the background. Great to catch up with you, my friend. Don't be a stranger. And if there's anything that goes on in the league that requires you using the garage door opener or finding the key under the mat, you know where to find us. We'll catch up with you soon, my friend.
Yep.
There goes Kaylor Hodges, everybody. USL show at the USL show on all the socials. And if you like deep dives into strategery and formations and things, John Morrissey is another must follow on social media when it comes to anything and everything going on in the USL. He looks at tactics and breaks down formations and teams and things like that. So Morrissey, who is a little bit more optimistic than the singer at times. So John Morrissey, Kaylor Hodges, and the Band of Renowned over at the USL show, if that makes any sense. Okay. Let's see. Let me say hi to everybody and then go back in and recap the signing of we are now getting a Transfermarkt has a name in the home country of Ina Mikshi. So we'll see what pronouncer is. But looking at it initially, I was going to go Anea Mihai, but name in home country is Ina Mikshi or Maishi. So we'll see what it is. Transfermarkt has the pronouncer as Ina Mikshi. So we'll see what the official when Ina's mom gets mad, we'll find out what the true pronunciation is. So morning Ricky, morning Four Card, morning Michael. And Michael, you were probably not alone. You and the 31,000, hoping that it did not go the extra 30 plus PKs because that was a late night last night. So let's see. Morning Alex, morning Abel, and let's see. Morning Michael, morning Four Card. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that I have missed here. Morning Abel. Getting into the requested reading. Morning Rich, morning Pars, and morning Abby, who ducked in late to discuss things. Okay, so Ina Mikshi, I guess that's what I'm looking at here, involving our friends from Transfermarkt. Name in home country. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to post it as it is listed by our friends from Transfermarkt. So here's what Transfermarkt has involving the new pickup for Atlanta United. Ina Maishi. So that's hopefully close. Rich being another one of the A-lister intrepid producers. According to Athlon and Emmanuel Mendez, as of 2 hours ago, headline, Luis Suarez retirement approaches as his Inter Miami future is in doubt. Heron set to let go one of their biggest names. Currently has a contract with the club until the end of the season. Signed a contract extension last November at 38. Looking for reportedly looking for younger options ahead of 26. Eduardo Burgos from Diario AS reports unless there is a last-minute surprise, Suarez is expected not to continue with Messi and friends in 26. His future in soccer has also become uncertain. Burgos' report suggests there are talks within Suarez's camp that retirement is a realistic option to take if he doesn't continue with Messi and friends. Suarez will turn 39 in January. Suarez announced the new Uruguayan club he formed along with Messi. Rumors assume that the Uruguayan striker may put his full focus on that project, especially if he retires. And so club seems more focused on convincing Messi to stay by bringing elite players to create a competitive team. With this latest report, Suarez is not a part of the plans. Suarez played in all 4 of the Club World Cup matches in June and scored an assist against Palmeiras. And so keep an eye out on that. So Eduardo Burgos at Diario AS. So keep an eye on the future of Luis Suarez going forward for Messi and friends. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. So that is so in discussing Ina Maishi, We'll go with that until we are told otherwise. What we are looking at is 6'1" or 6 foot 160, 26, and he's going to have a birthday in 3 days. So he's going to celebrate his 27th birthday on Saturday as Atlanta United takes on DC United in DC as a right-footed center back for Atlanta United. Coming from Famalicão, 1 assist last year. So stay-at-home center back, not necessarily the individual that's going to dive into the play. Similar players over the last 365 days. Dario Zuparic from the Portland Timbers, Aguilar from Atlético San Luis, Martins from Juventude, Pedro Alvaro from Estoril, Felix Caicedo from Corinthians, Riccio from Sampdoria, Fontan from Aruca, Miguel Tapias from Chivas, and Andrea Moroni from Reggiana. Top quarter in the planet for center backs in assists, passes attempted, top 40%, top quarter in successful take-ons, also top quarter in interceptions and blocks over the last 365 days. 3 seasons with Famalicão, playing 29, 18, and 25 matches for Famalicão in the Primera. When we have Nino Torres on tomorrow, we will discuss and get more intel on Maishi tomorrow. So Nino's going to join us at 10 o'clock to start off hour number 2. So we will get all of our intel that we need on center back Ina Maishi tomorrow, 10 o'clock with Nino Torres. That'll be our lead. But 3 years at Famalicão, 25 matches, 25 starts, 18 matches, 18 starts, 29 matches this past season, 29 starts, 1 assist on the season. So stay at home. Looks like he can drop dimes, according to Tyler Pilgrim, who watched a little bit of film on him. But it is a pickup for a club that needs experience at center back, and this is where he plays. This is not someone who can play other places. He has played center back on the left and the right side, but his history is for being a center back, period. Center back, period. That's it. And so that is what you're staring at involving Ina Maishi. So defender, center back, and I think it's 82 matches, if I'm not mistaken. So 72 in the Portuguese league and so on and so forth. Only has 4 markers to his name, but he plays 90 minutes, 64 matches. When he was at Famalicão, he played the full 90 minutes as a center back. So right now, as he's about to turn 27, the Albanian national is next in line. But remember, he cannot play for Atlanta United until the secondary window opens. So that is what you're staring at involving Ina Maishi. And so we'll have more on that tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So that is the latest transaction that's on the board for Atlanta United. Let's go through what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, gossip, rumor, and innuendo. And then we will tomorrow, once again, hour number 1, we'll get you through what happens tonight. Men's and women's national teams. Women are in D.C., men are in St. Louis. And we'll work through all of that tonight. Soccer on TV tonight. Birmingham and Charleston is tonight on CBS Sports Network at 8 o'clock. FS1, the Gold Cup semis at 7 and 10. USA and Guatemala at 7 o'clock. Mexico and Honduras is at 10 o'clock. Fox Deportes has the Peru Primera at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Juan Pablo Dos against Melgar. TUDN and Univision simulcasting the semifinals for the Gold Cup. USL League One, triple header. Portland Hearts of Pine, AV Alta, Westchester, Greenville, Spokane, and Texoma, 6:37 and 10. That's on the Plus. Paramount Plus simulcasting USL Championship. Women on Big Fox, the Euro 2025, a doubleheader. Iceland, Finland at noon. Switzerland and Norway at 3. TNT, Universo, and Max and Peacock are all simulcasting in their own various ways. USA and Canada tonight at 7:30. VEEX is Iceland and Finland, and that is at noon. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo before we get you out of here for a Wednesday. Thanks to Kaylor Hodges for breaking down everything USL and USL League One and the Gainbridge Super League. And thanks to Tyler for coming in. Thanks to Dylan for coming in, as they always do on Wednesdays. So now, and then we'll go through all of our sources and see if we've missed anything or can get an update. Bayern Munich considering a move for Marcus Rashford after being impressed with his form at Villa last season, 3-letter paper. Arsenal moving closer to a deal for Victor Gyökeres. Told his club he wants to join Gunners. That's from L'Equipe. We'll talk about that tomorrow with Nino as well. Crystal Palace have reached a £47 million agreement to sign Ousmane Diomande from Sporting, with the Ivorian defender seen as a potential replacement for Mark Gahey. We'll talk about that with him tomorrow. United have approached Inter Milan about a deal to sign Italy midfielder David Fratesi. Arsenal have already submitted an offer to Noni Madueke, who might leave Chelsea in the summer. Juve closing in on a deal to sign Jonathan David, whose contract expired at Lille at the end of last season. That's from Fabrizio Romano. Jean Duran flying from his homeland to Turkey to complete a loan move from Al Nassr to Fenerbahce. Newcastle exploring a move for Marseille's center back Leonardo Balerdi, who's also interesting Juve. Burnley working on striker options for Scotty Tuhati. Genk forward Tolo Arokadare under consideration. AC Milan hoping to sign Swiss midfielder Ardon Jashari from Brugge, not Bruges, but Brugge, in a deal, or is it Club Bruges? In a deal worth €30 million. Manchester City is going to sign 15-year-old Kalen Cole Catamarteri from Sheffield Wednesday in a £1.5 million deal. The forward is the son of forward Everton striker Danny, 4-letter paper. And there's also a write-up in The Athletic about how Sheffield Wednesday has completely gone in the dumper. West Ham will face a battle to convince Slavia Prague to sell Senegalese left back El Hadji Malik Diouf, the 20-year-old. And that is from The Guardian. Birmingham City, once again, we talked about Damari Gray yesterday. Josh Windass, rumored to be one of multiple players keen on a departure from Sheffield Wednesday. That's from our friends at Gimme Sport. Windass could be heading this way to Major League Soccer. They also could lose out on teenager Sutura Kakai, who is getting interest from Southampton. Derby and Ipswich are looking in competition now for Patrick Adjumong, both close to matching the £7.2 million fee. That's from the 4-letter paper. Derby County, Ipswich, Charlotte, Big Pat might be heading that direction. Plymouth Argyle look to get the race won for Brendan Wiredu. Bolton and Luke Southwood close to joining Bristol Rovers following their relegation to League Two. Salford City have rejected 2 bids for Haji Minoga after triggering his 1-year extension clause on the contract to keep him at the club until 2026. Okay, now, next stages, checking on sources and finding out what is on everybody's mind there. Okay, MLS Next. 4th annual MLS Next All-Star Game, 44 talents. And Jono Ransom is one of those. Jono Ransom, Didi Cibrian have been named as a part of the MLS Next All-Star Game. That will be in Austin. So great news to see those two going to the showcase that is the MLS Next All-Star Game as a part of MLS All-Star Week in Austin. Jono Ransom, Didi Cibrian, well-earned, well-deserved. Monday, July 21st, 8:30 Eastern Time on the YouTube channel for Major League Soccer. Jono Ransom, Didi Cibrian, a part of the 4th annual MLS Next All-Star Game. Very, very cool that has been locked down as well. So we'll obviously catch up with Steve Cook and find out what it's like to see those names being bandied about and being honored the way that they have. Chelsea confirms Joao Pedro has joined from Brighton on an 8-year deal, £60 million fee. According to our buddy Ben Jacobs, Pedro valued for his versatility and registered in the Club World Cup squad, and he may not be the last one to arrive. So we'll keep an eye on that. And so the Atlanta Academy account has let everybody know now also about Jono Ransom and Didi Cibrian. Sunderland in talks to sign Georgi Petrovic from Chelsea. Sasha Tavolieri was the first one there to discuss that. Also on the board, what am I missing here? Everybody else is also making their announcements when it comes to the MLS Next All-Star Game. So I think that, and Valentin Barco has made his move to Strasbourg official. It is no longer a loan. It is now shifting over to Strasbourg and being a part of the next season and the next wave there. Petrovic, by the way, has a pact with Chelsea, allowing him to leave for €30 million. Bournemouth are also keen. Strasbourg wants to sign him permanently, but Petrovic is exploring other options despite being named player of the season during his loan spell there. Sunderland pushing for Petrovic after missing out on Marcin Bolka, who chose to join Niam. Nothing close. Andre Santos apparently played a big role in João Pedro's move. Fabian Hertzler on the departure. Good move for all parties. Excellent deal for the club. Good return on a significant investment in an area of the pitch where you have a lot of competition, already well served in terms of our attacking talent. Ellie Carpenter for Chelsea women has joined from Lyon on a 4-year deal, reunited with head coach Sonia Bonpastor and Ashley Lawrence. Chelsea defender goes the other way, making 60 appearances with Chelsea. She is now at Lyon. But yeah, the biggest news on the morning has been the João Pedro transfer overseas. Leverkusen confirmed Jarrell Kwanzaa has joined from Liverpool on a 5-year deal. Fee is just north of €40 million. Liverpool retain a buyback clause. And Liverpool have also formally rejected an attempt by Bayern to engage over Luis Diaz. Bayern chief Max Eberl has been informed Liverpool have no intention or desire to enter discussions. Communications ending immediately. Chloe Kelly joins Arsenal for Manchester City following her loan spell, signing a 3-year deal. And the picture is available on social media where she has the contract. The pen is over the contract. She's nowhere close to signing the contract with her name, but she's smiling at the camera. Everton confirmed Jared Branthwaite has signed a new deal until the summer of 2030. Hull City confirmed Dean Holden as a new assistant coach. And once again, Job and Jude will not be playing each other, as Dortmund and Real Madrid will be playing on Saturday. I think that's a good place. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I might have missed this morning involving things and players and transfers. And Abby with the question, is it going to be an Albanian flag or is it going to be a Greece flag? So we will see on that as well. Remember, tonight it is women's friendly and it is men's action in St. Louis and all points in between. Genk in talks to sign Aaron Bibu from Vasteras SK. Only joined Vasteras from LA Galaxy a little more than 3 months ago. He's already impressed scouts in Europe. Bibu has a sell-on clause at around 25%. He had 26-9 for Los Dos over a couple of years. Didn't get into the first team, so he moved to Vasteras in Sweden, 6 goals in 1,000 minutes. And let's see. MLS transfer news. Remember, Olivier Giroud is now officially signed with Lille, and he just spends less than a year with LAFC, France's National League all-time leading scorer. He's back in Ligue 1. And Windass, one of several players to inform Sheffield Wednesday, wants to leave because, remember, this is the 3rd time that payments have been late to players under this current wave of activity involving Dejan Chansfiri, the owner. So it's a mess, and a lot of folks are not happy with what's going on the field or off the field involving Sheffield Wednesday. Caleb Porter confirms to Caleb Pongratz Ignatius Gonago's loan deal has been extended, has a goal and 2 assists in 15 matches played with the Revs. Derby County's offer once again in the region of $8 million plus add-ons. No deal is agreed. Derby is confident, requested to book a medical. Charlotte has said no. And so we'll keep an eye on the negotiations there with Big Pat and Derby County, etc. over in Europe. I think that'll do it. I think we got everything covered. But yes, the big question for Inamaishi, I think, is Albanian flag or Greece. We'll figure out what it looks like here. So this is from our friends at Transfermarkt. Name and home country. Inamaishi. I was going with an AME high, but it looks like, according to our friends at Transfermarkt, name and home country, Inamaishi. So we'll go there until we are told what it is in translation. So that is another round of SDH AM. Once again, thanks to Kaylor Hodges for everything USL. Thanks to Dylan Butler for everything MLS. And thanks to Tyler Pilgrim for everything going on at Land United, Club World Cup, and what it was like to go to Portugal. Tomorrow, once again, Nino and Nico, the Power Hour, now number 2. Still efforting other folks. That's the last show of the week tomorrow. Once again, with Friday being July 4th, we have things that we're going to be doing on July 4th, like rooting on folks that are going to be going 6.2 miles from Lenox to Piedmont Park, in addition to other things. And then we will be at the MD-1s to get you ready for a PSG and Bayern Munich and all points in between. So that is another go-round of a Wall Pass Wednesday here at SDH. Thanks for dropping by, as you always do. Thanks to all of you in the Twitch pitch. Thanks to all of you who watch. Thanks to all of you who listen. Sections will be posted on your favorite podcatcher later today, and we will rock and roll and let you know what's going on in and around the world of soccer every single day, Monday through Friday, most weeks, Monday through Thursday this week because of July 4th. So once again, end of the show. That means I get to do this. We'll see you in a little less than 22. Mucho Platiel, play it safe. We'll catch up with you 9:05 again tomorrow morning. Be safe, everybody. See you soon.